Montreal Canadiens front office. Big shakeup. Changes are coming to the Montreal Canadiens. Hey, everybody, I'm Rick. Welcome to Talking Habs, where you get your daily fix of Bleu Blanc Rouge. And it would help if I had my microphone in place. And I didn't. Hopefully it's working. Hey, everybody. So big changes were announced today as Montreal Canadiens have hired Jeff Gorton as their new president of hockey operations and have relieved Marc Bergevin, Trevor Timmins, and Paul, I don't know his last name. He's communications director, I think. And they relieved them of their duties. Nobody's been hired to replace Marc Bergevin offhand right away. So we're searching for a new GM. So I guess what everybody's been expecting has finally happened. By the way, Matt will be joining me in a minute. He's having some trouble with his Wi-Fi. Technical problems. He'll be here in a minute. Let's see who's here and let's talk about it. Happy Nation, I win, I always win. Everybody's fired. Yeah, it's true. Happy Nation's been calling for this for a long time, actually. So, hey, Julie, how's it going? Maritime, hey, good to see you again. Weber for GM? No, I don't think so. No, listen, there's going to be a French GM, and that's fine with me at this point. You know,
there's a stupid rule.
But it's okay. Listen, here's what I just wrote this. So where is it now? Okay, so with Jeff Gorton as the president of hockey operations, I won't be upset if they go with a French GM and that's just because he's French. I don't mind a French GM if he's the right guy, obviously, but I'm saying I won't be upset if they go with a guy just because he's French, but I'm still drawing the line at the head coach. I'm not right into the head coach. Why? The GM and the president of hockey operations, anything he does got to go through Gorton. So basically Gorton makes those decisions. I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
It won't bother me if we have to have a guy with maybe not as much experience, whatever, right? But when it comes to the coach, because pretty much I think the fact that they let Bergevin go, they're gonna bring in a new GM. You're gonna see a new coach this year. I don't know when, but you're gonna see a new coach. That's my prediction now.
Yeah, that's my feeling. Harry Rice doesn't share that feeling. I was on his stream earlier, and I said that. I said, listen, I think Dom's days are numbered. I think once a new GM comes in and changes start happening, I think Dom's gone.
I think
he's not an NHL coach, and he's honestly for the most part been incompetent this year, I think.
Although I'm going to say I'm not happy with that. I'm not happy with this though. And here's something else I wrote. Wait a second, I got it here. They're going to go all in a futile attempt to make the playoffs. This is what I'm afraid of right now. They're going to go all in to make the playoffs when, God damn it, it's not possible. And
it's not. I mean, they have to literally go near perfect, I think, the rest of the year. They have to go
and that's ridiculous. But to me, letting Bergevin go now, right away, signals they're going to go all in. And I don't like that. I honestly don't. Okay, before we get out of hand here, I've got some stuff prepared. Let's go through the timeline of everything.
Sure.
Because this happened really fast. I had just done a thumbnail, which I've had to change, I think, 3 times because of the news, one after the other. And so stick with me. So last night, while we were doing the live stream, Pierre LeBrun put this out. Hearing that Scott Mellanby had extensive talks with Habs owner Jeff Molson at first becoming GM, then that changed to perhaps becoming president of hockey operations. But he was told yesterday he was out of the running, so he resigned. Now, I had written that too. Did Mellanby resign because he was promised GM job and then was told they changed their minds? So that's confirmed there, but I hadn't read that yet. Dan, I think this is today. No, this was also last night. From Elliot Friedman, more later tonight, but hearing Montreal has permission to talk to former New York Ranger GM Jeff Gorton. Do not believe this is for the GM position, but another role. We'll see how it develops. If anybody wants to know what Jeff Gorton looks like, that's Jeff Gorton. Some info on Gorton. Gorton, he's been an analyst since he was let go last year. I don't remember the reason. Nothing like bad, really, by the Rangers.
No, it was after the Tom Wilson incident because he spoke out against the NHL.
He spoke out. So there you go. That's what that was about. It's nothing big. And he was also with the Boston Bruins. In his 14 years with the Rangers, Gorton was GM for 6 of them from 2015 to 2021. After spending 4 as assistant GM, he joined the team as a professional scout. Blah, blah. His most noteworthy additions to the Rangers were Zibanejad, Adam Fox, and Artemi Panarin. Good moves. The Rangers fired Gorton as team president and team president John Davidson on May 5th in a move that surprised the hockey world, and it was over being outspoken about the that incident last year with Tom Wilson and Panarin and throwing Panarin to the ground and all that. While with the Bruins, Gorton was director of scouting information. That's weird. I never heard it said like that. From 94 to 2005, and at one point interim GM in 2006. It's believed Gorton's discussions with the Canadiens would be about a position other than general manager. So we know this is more on Gorton. What was here that I wanted? He also, when he took over the Rangers full time, he ushered in the biggest change in franchise history when they finally did the unthinkable in New York and announced a rebuild. So this is a guy that's known to be able to rebuild a team. So they went out and they got, now he's an American guy, so I don't want to hear any complaints about that. And Matt will like it too, because he is from Melrose, Massachusetts.
Yeah. The next town, that's actually my town. That's my town's biggest rival. Yeah, it's the next town to the south.
Well, there you go. So he's from Matt's area of the world. And this is a guy that knows what he's doing. He's experienced. Oh, yeah. This is the kind of guy that when we talked about getting somebody as a president of hockey operations, this is the kind of guy we're talking about. So, all right. So that's there. Let's talk about Marc Bergevin. This is how I found out about it, that Bergevin was fired. I went to look back on Twitter and I see Marc Bergevin's statement. I click on it and I get, it's a farewell statement. I'm going, what? So, that's how I found it. So this is from Bergevin. Saying farewell to an organization like the Montreal Canadiens is not an easy thing to do. I want to leave the organization in the same way I came in, with a lot of pride. If there's one word that comes to mind right now, it is thanks. Thanks to everyone who, in one way or another, has helped make this dream come true. Thanks to Jeff for his dedication, support, and trust throughout this journey. Thanks to the players, the coaches, the management team, the scouts, and all the hockey and administrative staff I worked with. Without you, I would never have been able to realize my dream. Thanks to the media for their professionalism and coverage. I would never have thought in my life that I would be getting more visibility than the Premier. Especially thanks to the fans for their support, passion, and loyalty to the Montreal Canadiens. The last years have been high in both emotions and learnings. You have witnessed my journey leading the organization. You won't be surprised to hear me say it has not been a long, quiet river, and at times it felt like we were living in a TV show. Despite the challenges, the organization I led with passion always fought back. For me, each experience, good or bad, made me a better leader. It was in 2012 that I accepted with pride the challenge of leading the Montreal Canadiens towards the 25th Stanley Cup. Even if I always said that the goal was to make the playoffs and that anything was possible once there, the real objective was always to bring the cup to Montreal. I know you would have liked to hear me say that at each golf tournament at the start of the season, but this thought was behind every decision I made since my first day at the head of this organization. Last year allowed us to get closer to the ultimate objective, but we fell short of hoisting the Holy Grail. Despite this, I am proud of what we achieved as an organization. I sincerely hope this objective will be achieved sooner than later. Montreal is the city where I took my first skating strides, and it's also the city where I learned to lead the NHL's winningest franchise. This city and this organization will always have a special place in my heart. That said, and despite the fact that this journey is coming to an end, I am proud of the legacy I'm leaving within the organization. The current team is much better than the results show, and I'm convinced that my successors will be able to rise to the challenge. It is with my head high and with unforgettable memories that I'm leaving my role as general manager of the Montreal Canadiens. I wish this organization and my successor all the best for the future. Thanks again, Mark. I want this to be said. Okay, here's his record, and then there's something I want said that someone put out on Twitter, and I thought was well said. They went 344, 265, and 81 in 10 seasons under Bergevin. That's a winning record. So I just want you to know that that's a winning record. I believe. It's even anyway, but that's a winning record in today's NHL anyway. But it's basically 500. They won 3 division titles and made 6 playoff appearances under Bergevin, losing in the 2021 Stanley Cup Finals. So, I mean, that's not a bad showing, but this is what I really want. So this is important. Only in Montreal can a GM bring his team to the Eastern Conference Finals and to the Stanley Cup Final and still get hateful words when he gets relieved of his duties, and by some professional media members at that. He did good. He's a good GM. He will get another shot. I 100% agree with that, because to be hateful at this point is just ridiculous. It's wrong, and I feel exactly like that. I don't think I can even express it better than that. I got one last thing, and then we're going to get to everybody. When the new GM comes in, I doubt they keep Ducharme. So we were just saying that. Makes me wonder if Joel Bouchard had stuck with Laval, would he end up eventually coaching in the NHL this year instead of the AHL? Thought I'd throw that one in. All right. Matt, anything you want to say it now, and we're going to get to comments.
No, we can go right into comments.
All right. Habs Guru. By the way, I'm just going to say, hey, everybody, thanks for coming in, and let's get to your comments. How's that? Culture change time. I hope so. I think it's required. Drake likes the hire of Gorton. Hey, Pat, Habs should hire a French translator so they can choose best GM and coach. I was just saying this, that at this point with Gorton there, I'm not so worried about the French GM part. Even if it might not be the absolute best guy, you got Gorton there. I think he's going to oversee everything. It's fine. But I draw the line at coach. I don't want to see another coach picked just because he's French. I don't mind a French coach. I don't. If it's the best guy available, I don't mind a French coach. So I'm not against French, but I don't want a guy picked just because he's French, because we'll get another Ducharme. And we don't need that. We want the best guy available. And in choosing a new coach now, if they let him go, are we going to get the best choice of coaches? We're not. It's not the right time, and I fear they're going to go all in and do this, and I that's the one thing I don't like about this. You want to add?
No, I agree, and I hate the French rule, because you know they're gonna end up taking a.
It's apparently not a rule. They want to keep saying
but I
it's
mean,
not really a rule. It's not, but it's an unwritten one.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I hate it.
But it's funny too, because.
Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, a majority of the fans don't really care. It's really like the Premier of Quebec that really has the issue with, having a French coach, French GM. I mean, that's really what it is, because we as a fan base, we don't care. We just want the best people available.
It's only the separatist-minded fans that's the only ones that want it. Why would anybody care as long as you're getting the best coach? Who cares what language they speak? Because in the NHL, the language is English. That's the language they use. Doesn't matter what language or what country you come from, you speak English when you're dealing with NHL things. That's how it is. Do I think they talk to Price and see what he wants? Not really. And I mean, if they were going to do that, then they just make Price the GM. So no, I don't think so. Carey Price is not the GM. Carey Price is not going to decide who the coach or the GM is. That's my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Aki, that's not necessarily it. They could be letting him go now so that they can get the new stuff in for the trade deadline and get set up for the draft coming up. Yeah, no, listen, that might be it. but then you think, I was saying it last night in the game, let him go, like, time it, like a little bit before the trade deadline so the new GM can come in and get, acclimated to everything and have the new GM making the picks and any trades at the trade deadline. So trade deadline trades or picks in the draft that won't be that far behind. So, yeah, well, we'll see. It doesn't mean Ducharme's getting fired. It's just that's an assumption I think we're making. But, yeah, whatever. I hope not. Oriole guys giving some names that are out there. Martin Madden Jr., Roberto Luongo, Matthew Darche, and Roy are the options. Yeah, I think Darche is a good guess to be probably in the running. Listen, Pierre Maguire might be. He's put his name in there. He said he'd take the job. So you got that. I'm good with Pierre Maguire. I know a lot of people are groaning now. And I don't know why, but Pierre Maguire makes people groan. I like Pierre Maguire. I'd be good with that. And he speaks French, and he's French. So he'd fit the bill. Rebuild is on the way. The new GM will take care of firing the coach. This is about the draft and getting a look at young players. I hope so. I hope so. Because I'll tell you, I have this, and I didn't put it up. I'm going to put this up. I got to grab it. It's the ice time last night for the young players. I should have put it in here, but I'll get it right now. I have it somewhere. Where is it? Here we go. So this is the time on ice last night for these guys. And there's something wrong there. Pezzetta, 5:45. Maybe Pezzetta, you could say. Paling, 6 minutes, 30 seconds. Norlinder, 9:49. Caulfield, 10:09. Something wrong with that. These guys shouldn't be playing that little. They should be playing more. They're not winning this year. They're not getting to the playoffs. Let these guys play. If anything, get those bad games out of them now in a bad season, right?
Yeah.
Those mistakes. Get as many of them out of the damn way. Wouldn't you be thinking? That's how I'd be thinking about it, right?
Oh, yeah.
Get these guys that extra year of experience, for Christ's sake. I don't understand why they're not. I don't know. So hopefully the new guy, going to be on the ball that way, and maybe things will change that way. Don't change the coach. Just make him play the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Dictate to him who to play. He's a lame duck now anyway. He's not really because he's got 2 years after this, but he's not making it to that.
No, God, no.
But I think, in my opinion, leave Ducharme the whole season. Just make sure that, well, it depends. If you feel he's hurting your prospects, you don't. I mean, that, I guess, makes a lot of sense, right?
Not even that. If you fear, he's going to cause Jeff Petrie, unimaginable pain by playing him when he doesn't have a leg, I'd probably like that. Just speaks to that's just incompetence to me. If you got a guy who has a bad leg, who shouldn't be skating, who can't walk, probably shouldn't play him.
And you can't use the excuse to say, well, it's hard to keep him off the ice and he doesn't want to sit. Well, so you're the boss. You tell him to sit. That's how it works.
There's no I'd honestly be shocked if the doctor, like, if I was a team doctor too, I'd be like beside myself and be like, dude, you're destroying his leg. Like, stop.
It makes you wonder, like, if that's the case or not because of that. Like, I got to wonder, like, why are they letting that happen?
Yeah.
And maybe it's not as bad that way and he can't really hurt himself more. But I don't see how that could be. But, I'm going to assume. Oriole guy, I think this is a good comment. Roy won't be GM. He won't have full control with Gorton as hockey operations. That's a good point on Patrick Roy. Because, I don't think he'd want to be in there without having some form of control. And so I think that's a really good point. Besides, I don't really want to see Patrick Roy there. I wish they didn't have to now go hire a rookie GM because Gorton isn't French. Just hope he makes the decision and the GM is basically just his assistant. That's how I'm looking at it, right? Mm-hmm. Along the way, listen, say they hire Matthew Darche, who has not been a GM before, but he fits the bill. Along the way, over the couple of years, he's being taught by Gorton. he gets better, Darsh, as it goes along. Everything is better. So I think that's kind of what the setup's going to be like, is they'll bring in a French GM because he's French, satisfy everybody here that wants it. And I hope they then say, well, we'll compromise. The GM will be French. The coach can be whoever is the best coach that's available. If it turns out to be a French guy, okay, I'm good with that. There's good French coaches out there. There's no doubt. There's good ones. So, I don't know who's available, though. That's the thing. And during the season, your choice for coaches isn't as good as if you wait for the offseason. Of course, unless somebody that you really would like to get gets let go, and then you go after that guy, right? So it doesn't matter when they let Ducharme go. So I'm hoping they go that way. Because if they go all in to try to win, they're not going to. So it's just going to ruin that good draft pick. And I got to think Jeff Gorton knows this, right? You got to think Jeff Gorton's not that dumb to think, well, let's try and screw up that. He has to know his eye has to be on that good draft pick. Has to be. I want to believe that until it's proven that maybe that it's not. But I want to believe that he's smart enough. Grimes, I think this is how most people think, right? Me too. I'm sad to see Bergevin go, but unfortunately, it was time. It was time for him to go. I'm sure he knew it. I think that's why he didn't sign the contract extension, right? I would think he must have been thinking it's time to go as well. So. He'll get a new gig, maybe even before the end of the season. But I think Bergevin will be at the helm of some team at the latest in the offseason. Yeah, you got to believe that. He was a good GM. I'm not going to badmouth him. Did he make mistakes? Of course he did. He made some mistakes going into this year and all that. And I asked a question. As we were going to this, I was thinking, if you go back to when the downfall and everything just sort of collapsed, and I asked this, was drafting that kid, and I'm not going to name his name, in the first round at the last draft, the beginning of the downfall of this last management group, right? Yeah. When they made that draft, that was the first time we all looked at them differently. And then look at how many months later, and they're all gone. So drafting that kid was the beginning of this downfall for these guys. And I wonder, what do you think? You think Gorton gets rid of him?
I don't know. I mean, I kind of hope so, but
who knows? Stain on the organization, sort of, and in all this, like the culture change and everything. I think if they're doing a culture change, I kind of think you gotta trade that kid away, or just release him outright, and that's part of just wiping the slate clean of that. And it's a new management group, and it's a new direction. So I kind of think he's gonna go, which is good. It's fine by me. Sure, the kid's a talent. I get all that, but sometimes it's not worth the talent, All right. By the way, you can also go through the comments and then pull one up if you see one and I missed one or something like that, right? Don't be shy. You're co-host. It means you help out the host. Here I am chastising Matt. It's only in fun. Nobody make anything out of that. It's just fun. I'm busting his chops is all it is.
This is just funny.
I shit myself. Well, that's Zombie Jesus. He's always shitting. So when he heard the news, ran out of toilet paper out the shower. Oh my God. Thanks, Zombie Jesus, because sometimes the comments are well worth it. You know what? I honestly kind of almost did myself. I was going through Twitter, just looking. I've been all day waiting for some kind of news. It came out that Gorton, they hired him. I didn't know they'd fired everybody, and I went to look for stuff because I wanted to do a video. And when I saw that, it was like I jumped for a sec, literally, because I wasn't expecting that he had been let go or had resigned that quickly. And so there you go. And it figures, I had been watching for stuff all day. I get to a point where, okay, I'll take care of a few things, talking to some people on the phone, blah, blah, blah. And then that's when it happens. It's so funny. And it's Matt that actually let me know that Gorton was officially hired. He texted me. So good thing, because like I said, I was doing other things. I would have been a little delayed to it. So I'm glad. And I figured I'd do a live stream because everybody's doing a video. What can I add to what everybody else is doing? But I figured we get out here and let's talk about it. And you guys can get some stuff off your minds and us off our minds. And I think it's probably something different than what everybody else is doing. Patty Mac, that's my buddy Pat. That's the guy I always talk about, my buddy out in BC. That's Patty Mac. It's my brother from another mother. His dad was my mentor, so that's how we met. It's the poor drafting and player development that hurt us. MB won't make trades, but can build won many trades, but can build a team on trades. But can't. I'm not reading well, Pat. But can't build a team on trades and free agent as the cap will cripple them. Yeah, and you got to think that. I would think that Jean-Francois Houle, his job's on the line as well. Gorton's going to come in and revamp from top to bottom. You have to think that's going to happen. Because Gorton is also, as president of hockey operations here, same job, I believe, for the Laval Rocket. Okay, I don't know where that one is. So, what happened? How did that go to that one? I didn't put that up. I just hit.
I didn't put that. I had a couple.
Anyways, no problem. We'll do this one now. RPM. MB wanted out. I wish him the best. He will get a new. Oh, we did this already. Sorry, guys. So put one up. Some presidents sit back and let the GM do what they want. I feel Gorton is going to be the real GM, regardless of who they hire in the role. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Well, in a city where you got to hire a GM that might not be the best guy, that's the best alternative, in my opinion. And I do believe that's what we're going to see. Another
one? This is interesting because one of the Canes actually isn't still in the NHL. He got sent down.
Who's sent down?
Evander Kane. He got waived.
Oh, yeah. Kane, he got waived. We don't know. That we'll find out tomorrow if he gets sent down.
If he clears waivers, he'll be in the AHL.
Wouldn't shock me if some team picks him up because it's waivers. Yeah, that kid paid for his mistake. Look at Matthews, Guerin, Blackhawks, both Canes have done worse stuff and still around the NHL. Yeah, it's not that, if they keep him, I'm okay. I'll agree with you on that. He's paying for it right now. But you know what? It's a bit of a stain on the organization. It led to the downfall of this management group. It might be better off just to move him. But if they don't, I think you're right too. I mean, I don't disagree with you really. I actually, Matthews to me was worse. Canes was worse. In my opinion, Guerin, you're talking about Bill Guerin, the GM, covering up the that sexual assault there. Yeah, I mean, I'll agree with that. I'd agree with it. If we're rebuilding or retooling, Gorton is definitely going to chat with guys like Petrie, Price, etc., on if they want to go through that again or get moved. And Oriole guy, that's a good point. It's a good point. I think at this point we can't assume anything on anybody that's on the team. This might end up being a total rebuild around guys like Suzuki, Caulfield, Ramon. They might pick 3, 4, 5 guys of the kids and say we're going to rebuild around these guys, and everybody can go. So it's very possible that just because they signed somebody or someone signed long term, that they're a veteran, that their job is going to be here to finish out the contract. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, no, I agree. But yeah, like I think Gorton is he's the man for the job if they want to go this route. I just hope he stays on longer term. And yeah, I hope he kind of takes the reins and they just kind of hire a French GM to say, hey, look, the GM's French, but he's really not doing anything. He's just a safe face. Something like that, just to keep the Premier happy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Maybe. Okay, Quinn, how much did Pat pay you for that comment? Pat for sure paid him for that comment. I didn't know that you knew Quinn.
Huh.
Is Quinn your nephew Quinn? Maybe because Pat has a nephew Quinn. I didn't know if it is. But how much did Pat pay for that comment? There was somebody that asked. Oh, I agree with keeping Anderson. There's going to be a group of guys they'll keep, and then they'll build around it. Okay, I don't know who had the comment because I don't know if there's a lot of comments that seems like I missed it somehow.
Thank you, Pat.
Appreciate that. Asking to explain what Jeff Gorton would be doing, like what his job is. Are there this many comments that I like? Oh my God, I didn't see any of these comments. What the hell happened? There's like 1,000 comments. I can't find the one I'm trying to. Okay, so they're asking like, what does Oh, here.
Hey, wow, Harry.
So many comments. This is the one. Clearly explain what Gorton's job, what his job is and what he does. President. Whoop. Did I click another one? President of hockey operations is he oversees.
Vice president.
He's the only one, I guess, who his boss would be the ownership group. So he decides everything basically. He's the GM's boss and everybody else's. Yeah, he's the how do you explain it? He's the general. He's the general, and the team is his army, and he controls everything. He makes the last decision on everything if it comes to that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So if it comes to that, then that's what he does. So we haven't had a president of hockey operations in I think a long time, if ever in my, I don't know. So yeah, this is going to be good for the team. Wow, there's a lot of comments. Wow. Okay. Hey, Chicago Steve. Let me take that one off first. I think we need to play the kids to the best record we can, even if it's last place. We're still somewhat loaded in the draft for the draft coming. Yeah, the kids have to be out there. I showed that here. I showed you what look at their ice time from last night. 5:45 for Pozzetta, 6:30 for Paling, 9:49 for Norlinder, 10:09 for Caulfield. That's like ridiculous. You want to play those kids like double that at least. Anyway, so yeah, that's a good point, and yeah, you got to do that. I think I'm going to just scroll a little bit because there's a lot here. But Laviolette, again, unless they change their rule, he's not French, even though the name would make you think that he might be. Laviolette's not French. So, unfortunate. It's like Bruce Boudreau. Yeah, it's a French name. He's not French. Gerard Gallant, who is coaching now, was mentioned how many times, and no, it doesn't work. That's the problem when you have to have a guy that's French. I just don't get it. Here we go. Pierre-Luc Zero. I'm French and I don't care. Just take the best available. Absolutely. And that's just like I'm English and I don't care if it's a French coach as long as he's the best available. That's the whole point. I just think for the GM this time with Gorton and having the president of hockey operations allows you maybe that leeway with the GM. So Mel LeBlanc, that's an understatement. Like you wouldn't believe how much that's an understatement. And yeah, and to the peril of the province, unfortunately. Michael, yeah, I know the rumors there, but somebody put up, I think it was Oreo Guy, made a really good point about that Patrick Waugh probably wouldn't take it now because of Gorton being the president of hockey operations. It would limit the power that he would have to do what he wants. and I don't think Patrick Roy would take it. That was a really good point from the guy, and I kind of think that would keep Patrick Roy away.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's better options out there. I like Matthew Darche as the option better, for a couple of reasons. He's a really smart dude. This I knew when he was a hockey player, and he played here briefly. This is a really intelligent guy, and he fits the bill with the French, and he's got a little bit of experience as an assistant with Tampa. He fits the bill. He can learn a lot under Jeff Gorton.
Right, he's probably already learned a decent bit under Buisbois.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He's learned a lot,
Yeah.
and then in the job, you got now Jeff Gorton over him, so he's got another good mentor. So I kind of think we're going to end up with Matthew Darche as the GM.
I'd be happy with that. And
Yep.
yeah, Chris. I mean, this is why we're happy with Gorton, because I mean, look at what the Rangers are doing now. I mean, he really turned that franchise around.
Yep. No, he did. And he did it with Boston. I mean, when he was with Boston, it was a long time ago. Yes, but I mean, he did the same kind of stuff there. This guy's got a track record. He is he's not a dumb guy. Yeah, this is the kind of guy that when we've been talking about this, and we've been talking about president of hockey operations for a year and a half, 2 years, I think, at least. And this is exactly the right kind of guy. So I'm going to say kudos to Jeff Molson for getting off his ass and getting the right kind of guy here and not making a mistake, I don't think, on this guy. And from hiring this guy, the good will come from that. It'll drip down, as they say. What's that? Trickle down. Trickle down, and this guy should be able to do the job. I really do believe it. This is the kind of guy that I think can do the job. From what I've read about him, from his track record, yeah. So I'm pretty happy with it. Gorton was a big part of Boston rebuild around 2010, brought in Chara and Savard, and then was amazing with New York. Yeah. So, got to think we might be pretty lucky that the Rangers let him go last year and nobody picked him up, and that he was out there to make this move. I hope in a year, 2 years, we're going to be saying that, wow, were we ever lucky to get Jeff Gorton here in Montreal? I'm hoping. You got to think, too, with everything going on here with politics in Quebec, that this guy coming here and agreeing to do that, he's sacrificing a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
To come here and do that. I'm sure he's going to be well paid, so not that highly sacrificed. But so, yeah, good on the guy. I don't know that much about him, honestly, but I'm looking forward to seeing what he's going to do here. So, and I imagine over the next few days, next week, we're going to have a little bit more of an idea of whether maybe a temporary GM is going to be in place for now, or he's really going to bring in a GM. I think Matthew Darche is available. I think if they hired him, he'd be here pretty quickly. So I wouldn't be surprised. I just hope they don't do the coach. So what do you guys think about coach? I'd like to know from people. So I'm going to go down to the bottom here. Do you think they're going to replace Ducharme right away when the new GM is announced, or and are they going to make the same mistake again in bringing that whatever coach in under that rule? I'd like to know what everybody in here thinks. I'm sorry if there is. Well, there's a lot of comments. I can't believe how many comments. I don't want to scroll past. So we'll get to those in between then, and until we get to the bottom, let's talk about a few. Trout Bros, do you think they make some moves on players soon or at the deadline? I would think at the deadline.
Yeah.
I would think at the deadline. Depends. You might say they get a great offer for a player that they are planning to move at the deadline. Yeah, you might see them do it earlier, right? Because, you get a great offer, you can't really refuse. Other than that, I see somewhere just ahead of the trading deadline, we'll see Montreal start selling off. And that's what I think. Matt, you pick one, then I'll pick one. Then you pick one, then I'll pick one.
Okay. So I'm in agreement with Bob here. I think once the new GM comes in and kind of, gives everything kind of a look over, I think then he'll make the decision on the coach.
This is, but again, I agree with that. It's not what I want to see. I'm afraid of that, but I 100% am afraid that they're going to do that. Honestly, I don't think that's the right move, though. So I hope that they wait a little bit. The right time to do that if there's an Olympic break. So in that time in February, to me, that's the time to do it, not now.
I think that's smart. Yeah.
If you're going to do it, wait till then. We'll see. Unless, like I said, though, if the guy that you really want as the coach, maybe he's not available, but then becomes available, then you jump on it. Okay. But I think it's a mistake. Let this team bottom out and get that good draft pick. Jeff Gorton, I think, is going to do a good job while he's here. Jeff Gorton cannot save this team and make the playoffs. Cannot. It cannot happen. It won't happen.
No, it's so improbable. It's not even funny.
It's not even funny at that point. So that's what I'm hoping they don't do. Okay, let's find some more. Wow, I can't believe how far. Hey, listen, Pat gave you a compliment. First time seeing Matt, like his addition to Talking Habs.
Thank you, my man.
Thanks, Pat. And it should be Matt saying that. And he did. Rick, I'm spacing out.
This is interesting.
Why am I spacing out? Wait, Rick, am I spaced out? I'm not spaced out. Just a little bit of amp. So I'm a little bit hyped up. That's all. No biggie. Plus, I'm in like super big pain today with my knee. I don't know what I did to it. My left side. So, pain meds. So maybe you're right. I apologize, but hey, this came up all of a sudden, so couldn't help but do it. I think Price must have went to one hell of a bender after the Kraken didn't take him. That's not what happened. No, let's not talk about that. That's not what we're here for. President runs the business side of the company, financials, marketing, arena, and then obviously the team itself. Yeah, this guy does a little more than that, but you're right. He oversees everything. He's just under the owner, basically, the ownership group.
So, yeah.
This is the role Jeff Molson's been doing, but he's not a hockey guy. That's basically the difference, right? Jeff Molson's been acting as a president of hockey operations.
Yeah, and I think just by title, I think Molson would still by title be president, but yeah, that's why Gorton, excuse me, I don't know why I keep pronouncing his name wrong, but he's being brought in as the vice president of hockey operations. Basically, that's Molson going, all right, I'm going to run everything else.
Is it vice?
You're in charge of the hockey.
It's vice president or president of hockey operations?
Vice president of hockey operations.
There you go. So that's what it is. Molson's going to handle all of those financial that side of the business side. And Gordon's going to handle the team.
Right. Yeah. Molson's basically saying, all right, you're going to come in. Yeah. You're taking care of hockey now. I'm going to take care of everything else.
Yeah.
Which
and
again
that was the absolute right thing to do. It's over. It's long past the time for him to have done that. By the way, I want to say something to somebody here. Joe Habs. I want to apologize to Joe Habs. I thought you were making up some of the stuff you were saying yesterday, and then I saw it all on Twitter. I just want to say I apologize for maybe having a bit of an attitude towards you. So sorry about that, bud. Gorton was, I believe, in charge of the Rangers rebuild and got some really good young players. Yeah, we were saying, Zibanejad, he traded for Panarin. He traded to get Adam Fox, or I think he signed. I don't know what happened with that. He traded for the rights, I think, to Adam Fox. So, yeah, he made some really good moves.
Drafted Capo, drafted Lafreniere.
Yeah, exactly, right. Although Lafreniere, they had first overall pick. It's not like it was, he drafted Lafreniere. Who the fuck that,
Right. No, but like that Capo pick was great. He's a fantastic young player.
Yes, he is. Pierre-Luc, I'm not sure. I think they've had permission to talk to Darche already. So If the team is giving the guy permission to talk, then they'll let him go. That is what will happen. So I do believe they've had permission to talk to Darsh. Although I'm not 100% sure of that, but I believe I am correct. Matt Outdoor, no new GM announced yet.
This is a good comment.
Hey, Rick and Matt, we're talking a lot about Bergevin being let go, but what about Timmins? Yes, Timmins was okay. Scott Mellanby resigned. They hired Gorton, and then Gorton fired Bergevin, Timmins, and the communications director, Paul something. So three.
Wilson, I think. Was it like Paul Wilson?
Paul Wilson. I think that's right, Paul Wilson. So yes, so they're gone. So we're gonna have a new scouting director come in. We're gonna have a new GM, a new communications director. It's a big shakeup in the front office. All the top guys, pretty much all the top guys are gone. Yes, they should have let them go. Timmins, I'm okay with Timmins, but I mean, he didn't have a past draft record that was so good that you could say, yeah, they shouldn't have let him go. I'm fine with it. Somebody else will come in and do a good job. Mm-hmm. Gorton probably was responsible for some of the guys that were in place on the teams that he rebuilt. If you look at it that way, then he knows how to bring in the right guys to do good. English is really good this all of a sudden to make some good draft picks, right? So I expect he's going to bring in quality people that are going to do the job. So I wouldn't worry about it. You got to take that one out because I don't know where it is, but I like the comments you're picking out, so keep at it. I can't believe how many comments there were. So I'm sorry if we missed any comments, just retype them in, or you can take a super chat and then it'll get noticed. But just retype it, we'll get to it. I figure we're here for about another 20 minutes, half hour. If Matt's got the time.
Mm-hmm.
How'd your Pats do? How'd your Pats do? I didn't ask.
They won 36-13.
So that's playoffs, right?
No. No, there's still
not the end of the playoffs. I don't know. I'm not keeping.
There's another 5 games left in the regular season.
I saw something where people were saying playoffs. I didn't think so, but.
Well, right now we're the 1 seed in the AFC East, and if the Ravens lose tonight, we take the top spot in the AFC as a whole in the conference.
Joseph Gannon. This is interesting, and now for something completely different. New GM candidate Danielle Sauvageau. Yeah, I don't know. Do you think the NHL is ready for a female GM? I don't know. I'm not opposed to it. I don't know if the NHL is ready for that, but I'm not opposed to having a woman in any job, honestly. And she's very, very experienced in the women's game for sure. So, yeah, we'll see. I doubt yet that they're ready for that. Timmins lost my trust a long time ago when he drafted Matthew Carl from Bathurst. I remember back then, saw a lot of the games over there. There was a lot more talented player available that year. Or Kostitsyn versus Getzlaf. Yeah, listen, they made some big mistakes, I'll have to admit. But, a lot of other scouts or GMs or whatever made the same mistake. So, but you're right. Matthew Carl, I remember that draft. It's like, who? Why? I can't remember. That's a while back. You're going back a bit. Did Jeff Gorton hire Vigneault in New York? That's a good question. When was he was the GM from 2015 to 2021, so I don't know. Pat says fire Ducharme, make Richardson interim, so buy time to wait till season end for coach search. Pat, stop making good comments. I'm not happy with you. That's actually a good comment. And if they fire Ducharme, I'd be okay with that. Putting Richardson there. As interim coach, I think you can get away with it. I think the fans actually like him because of the when he filled in the playoffs. So I think if you're going to put in a guy that's not French, I think you've got a good chance with Richardson. So very good comment, Pat. And it kind of makes sense if you're going to do that. If we're tanking, better keep Darsh.
Oh, sorry.
Douche. Who's Douche? Oh, Ducharme. Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, that's my point, right? That's my point on doing that, right? But I think Pat's comment about changing him for Richardson might be a good compromise.
Oh, well.
Timmins gets shit on for his first round drafting without people realizing he drafted some really solid players in the later years. He did,
later rounds. He corrected it to later rounds, but yeah.
Oh, later rounds. Okay, yeah, he did. This is one thing Montreal's been pretty good on. Maybe in the last 6 years or so is drafting late round picks. But you know what? If you're not getting a good pick in the first round, that's where your better shot is of getting an actual NHL player. I kind of want the drafting to be a lot better in the first couple of rounds than say, well, we're really great at drafting 7th round players. It doesn't move the needle as far as winning a cup, right? It's the players in the first round that move the needle. So, I mean, that's all well and good, and I agree, but yeah, it doesn't save him for me. George Larac for Habs GM.
George Larac.
Yeah, George, he's not horrible as far as a hockey guy, but no, he's not a GM.
This is another great comment. This I definitely agree with. That's kind of my thing. When we've had good selections, I mean, I think aside from drafting Caulfield and drafting Sergachev, but then Bergevin traded Sergachev. But yeah, I mean we've whiffed big time on the when we've been in in the front top of the draft.
Yeah, it's third and fourth liners are great, but you can't win with just third or fourth liners, right? That's the whole problem. Right. So, yeah. 2002, nope. I doubt Roy's going to be the GM. Sean Farrell was drafted in the first round. No, he wasn't. And I'm 100% calling it now. Dude is going to be an elite first-line playmaker. He's a 5th rounder. He's not a first. That was when they drafted the kid that we don't talk about in the first round. Sean Farrell, I believe, was 4th or 5th, maybe 3rd round, but no lower than 3rd. He was 3rd, 4th, or 5th round. And I said it too. When I saw the kid, I looked him up to see what he could do, like what he had done to get drafted. And I said, this kid, keep an eye on this kid. This kid's going to be – he's got an elite game. He doesn't have elite size. That's the only thing that can hold this kid back. But I think he's going to be a great player as well. Habination wants to bet $5 they're going to do Patrick Roy as GM. Pierre-Luc says Farrell was in the 4th round.
Yeah, Harry Rice in 4th round.
He corrected himself.
He can't type
Grimes says, wait a second. Good luck with winning a cup without getting a solid first rounder. Look at Tampa. Point is a 4th rounder. Plot 5th. Cloran. Well, they want cups, though. I don't get your point here, though. You're kind of contradicting yourself. We need some solid first rounders. They got to start getting better at the top of the draft when they pick. I think that's like a given.
Oh yeah, big time.
Let's see now. Since I got to the bottom, let's go back. I'm going to go back up and see if I missed what I missed. Oh, here's interesting. Darcy says Gorton worked with Daniel Briere, worked with him in New York. Could be next GM, but Gorton will be running the show. Yeah, listen, and Briere was a former Hab. He was here for a very short period of time, and at the end of his career where he wasn't really good. But yeah, I mean that could be a possibility. especially since there's a tie to the
He
team.
fits the stupid French thing too.
He does, and there's a tie to the team. Well, Darsh fits that too, right? He played here, so yeah, it's same kind of thing. I think Darsh has more experience, but Gorton worked with him, so Briere, so that could be a possibility.
And I don't really like, even when obviously Briere was with us in the twilight of his career, but I didn't think he was bad. I thought he was decent.
Briere?
Yeah, when we had him.
Daniel Briere.
Okay. Yeah, Danny Briere, he's okay.
You're talking about the Daniel Briere that was Philadelphia Flyer and then came here finally? And he was okay here while he was here?
I didn't think.
How? How do you say that?
I don't think he was terrible.
I have a memory of him just being not good here.
He was okay.
And injured and very, very fragile. And I mean, he was not even close to Daniel Briere. Anybody else out there remember who was right? Me or
I remember him playing well in the playoffs.
I don't remember his name over there, even though it's written there. I don't remember it, but
I remember him, kind of playing decently well in the playoffs. I think that's kind of where I'm coming from.
Yeah, I don't remember Briere playing decently well at all, but that's okay. I could be wrong.
All right.
I'm trying to find some more. There's new stuff. Whoa, where? I'm lost here. Tampa, yeah. We're all talking about what round everybody was picked in.
Yeah.
Well, this is something that I was saying, right? A lot of other GMs make the same mistakes, or teams that we made in passing on certain guys, and other teams did it too. How do these guys get to the second, third, fourth round? Everybody passed on them a few times. So it's not just that, these guys were bad, but. Edward, I was going to get to your comment. I'm sorry. You didn't have to. You don't have to scream at us. How come it's going away all the time?
We kept clicking on it to show it.
Oh, who do you want to see? I don't know. Honestly, I don't have an answer to that because I don't know who's available right now exactly, and so I don't have anybody off the top of my head. I think Pat's comment about making Richardson the assistant. Kind of makes sense. I mean, the interim coach makes sense to me, so I kind of go there.
Yeah, but I think we can both agree, though. I think we pretty much just about, if not completely, lost confidence in Ducharme at this point.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. I mean, under pressure like that, I know he's under pressure, but your back's against the wall. And you don't really do anything different to change. It's like kind of he's doing the same thing over and over again, hoping that there's a different result. And that's just the definition of insanity. So after 22 games in? It's the coach. Here's Briere's record.
Yeah.
69 games, 13 goals, 12 assists. That's it. See, not
completely terrible though. That's 25 points, and he was playing third line.
Yeah, okay. I'm just saying though. That's Daniel Briere. You expect? I mean, he was old and he was broken pretty much.
That's what I mean. Like, he was in the twilight of his career. Like, when we got him, I wasn't expecting him to be spectacular, but 25 points out of what he was at the time isn't
you could
terrible.
Say though, when they brought Denny Savard over, it's pretty similar age and all that at the time when they both got here, how old they were and in what stage of their career they were in. Savard, I think his first season produced 50 points, didn't he? 54 points, I think, for something. So he had a good first season.
That's before my time.
Not great. Anyway, because of course, when Briere came here, we were expecting so much from him because he was a Quebec player. So that's how it works here. We can take it down. Fun fact. Habs traded Louis LeBlanc to the Ducks for a conditional fifth. LeBlanc didn't play and the condition wasn't met. That pick became Troy Terry. Could you really blame Bergie or Timmins for that? I don't think you blame anybody for that.
No,
Louis
that's just
LeBlanc, they
kind of
got
like,
Louis LeBlanc. He wasn't going to do anything here.
yeah.
Blame somebody for picking Louis LeBlanc in the first place. That's what you should blame. And if that was Timmins, then Timmins should have been blamed for that. It was a horrible pick. They picked him only because he was from here. That's it. Not even French, so we can't blame it on that. Just because he was here. And he's got a French name, but I don't think he was French. I could be wrong on that. But that's the reason they picked him. Gaston Gingras for GM. I like that. Love Gaston Gingras. Not for GM, though. Oh, well, Habination, that's not fair to not like a guy because he was a third liner. Hockey fan guy, we're talking about that. When the new GM comes in, more than likely going to fire the coach. See, from Habs Guru, hard to see Luongo leaving Florida. He's pretty well established there. Not impossible, though, if he wanted to be in a GM role. Yeah, I don't know that Luongo is like a serious rumor. I don't think it's a serious rumor, personally. But we'll see.
Another one I like. Oh, here we go.
They actually picked LeBlanc one spot ahead of Kreider. That was a homer pick. It was absolutely a homer pick. And then if Chris Kreider had been picked, he wouldn't have been here to screw up Carey Price. He wouldn't have been like in that position.
Serious. And that honestly, like, out of all the years, take last year out of consideration, but of all the years Bergevin was here, that year would have been the year. That team was good. Like, that team could have done some serious damage.
They could have. And Kreider, the guy that they didn't pick, came back to bite them in the ass. That's what happens. RPM says, I think Weber and Perry coached their teammates to the finals. I don't know that I agree with that completely. I mean, sure, that helped. I mean, their leadership definitely helped.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, we don't know. You could be right. I'm not saying you're wrong because I don't know. But yeah, I kind of think it's just the players do know how to play hockey. And I mean, maybe that's true. I mean, the leadership could have gotten their act together. It would kind of explain why the team looks like they're lost in what should essentially be the same system that they played in the playoffs. Right? Essentially, this should be the same system.
Yeah.
And they look so lost. So maybe that was the leadership group on the team kind of took over and just got everybody. I don't know. We'll find out one day, years later, when someone does a biography and talks about it, when everybody's retired. Will Dale Talon be the next GM? I don't think so. I think he's rumored to be the GM in Vancouver. That's what I heard. I heard he was rumored to replace Benning. I think it was Vancouver anyway.
And this is exactly my point as to why I think it was a good decision to let Bergevin go. Because, I mean, really, if you think about it, besides that team,
yeah,
he's kind of been mediocre under him, you know?
I kind of think he's trying to build. He's been building towards another good team like that. But I mean, you're right. That was their best shot. Even though we went to the finals last year, it wasn't. When you look at it, wasn't a team you thought would go there.
No.
And Hab Nation confirms Savard got 59 points his first year here. So it's a little different than Briere.
It's also a different time period.
No, but consider they were pretty much in the same position.
I mean,
in their careers. Anyway, it's what it is. You liked him as a third liner. He's talking about Darsh, not a third liner as GM. I don't think that's fair to say. As a matter of fact, sometimes the guys that weren't the big stars, they're the better coaches and GMs because they observed more of what was going on. And I find that happens a lot. It's not often it's not a ton of times anyway that the big stars turn out to be the big guys in management, or it's at least 50-50 anyway. So I don't think it's a write-off to say a guy was a third liner, can't be a good GM. I don't think that's fair. Alexei Emelin got picked in the draft, though, the expansion draft. I don't think he'd still be here.
No,
Can we
probably
blame
not.
Can we blame that on Bergevin?
See, hockey fan guy, the problem with this is it's impossible to make the playoffs right now. So, and I'd rather have a higher draft pick.
Yeah, it's impossible. Even the task they have to make the playoffs, just to possibly make a wild card, is a task that even the best team in the league right now probably wouldn't be able to, more than likely, would not be able to even approach it. So why would the Habs be able to?
Right.
At this point. So there's no reason to be going all in for Carey Price when he they're not. This year's gone. This year's gone already. Have a good night, Bob. Thanks for being here.
Have a good night, Bob.
We need something from Gorton in the next few days to say that what the plan is. Are we scorching Earth or not? If we are, let the scorching begin. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I imagine. Well, there's a news conference. I have it here. Molson press conference tomorrow, 11 a.m. So, yeah. So we'll find out some more there. I imagine since there's going to be the press conference. So we'll see. It doesn't say anything about Gorton being involved in it, but there is a press conference. So I'm going to be waiting on that to see what comes out of that. Yeah, Pierre-Luc, unfortunately, we probably won't get that, but I mean, you're 100% right.
Mm. Yeah, you can thank the Premier of Quebec for that.
Yeah, well, not just him. Pierre-Luc, though, the thing is with Gorton being really experienced as president or vice president of hockey ops, yeah, I don't think that's going to be a problem about the GM because he won't get into any kind of, if there's any negotiations that you might think will be over his head, well, you got Gorton there with him. So I don't think that's a problem. So, if they didn't bring in somebody like Gorton and just change the GM, that's different. But with that guy there, I think we're fine with almost any GM they bring in. Because
yeah, I mean,
Gorton,
as long as he basically has the final say on everything, yeah, I think absolutely.
Yeah, he'll oversee whatever's going on.
Yeah, and I think they should kind of let him bring in like his own kind of scouting team and stuff like that. Like I think he should be in charge of that, not whoever they bring in as GM.
Say that again. I missed something. I was reading something. Sorry.
So no, I'm just saying like I think they should also like Gorton. I think they should let him kind of be in charge of setting up maybe like bringing in new scouts, a whole new scouting department, stuff like that.
No, I think that's what's going to happen. Obviously, the rebuild's going to go through him. This is quite obvious, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Jeff Gorton going to talk to the media at some point. I imagine he will. Fan guy. I think he will. Ketchup Dick, which I love the name. No, I don't think Jay Weber is going to be a GM here. No. Maybe eventually one day I could maybe see that, but not in this instance. Born to be a Hab, yeah, I kind of. I don't think Price is done. I don't think they're dealing him, but they might. I mean, it's a possibility. But don't forget, he has to waive. He's done no movement. He has to waive that before they can do that. So, I kind of think I'm leaning towards Darsh being the guy named as well. But it's too soon to really know what Gorton's thinking. So, yeah, Darcy, that's what we've been saying. Exactly that.
Mm-hmm.
And Gorton will run the show. I mean, unless he chooses to bring in a very experienced guy. I mean, he might choose to bring in somebody that has tons of experience and he doesn't have to oversee him as much.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't know. We don't know who he's going to bring in. But I tend to think he's going to bring in a guy that he can mold the way he wants him. This is Bergevin didn't plan that bubble thing, though. That folded his plans on his rebuild, and his mindset changed to win now since beating Pittsburgh. Yeah, I think that's part of it too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But still, I mean, they're supposed to know better. They shouldn't be fooled by that kind of stuff.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right.
Habitation. If Weber retires, we recover his cap and it goes to Nashville. No, if Weber retires, Nashville gets hit with a cap recovery amount.
Yeah, it's like $5.5 million a year, I think.
It's substantial, yeah. So Nashville don't want him to retire. They'll probably make a move. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what happens in the end. Is Weber gets traded back to Nashville for a pick. Luca, yeah, Darsh has some experience as far as AGM to a team that's won the cup. So this guy, I think Darsh is probably the guy that's going to get named.
Mm-hmm.
RPM, that's something that they could do, right? And that's why Nashville would want him. If he's thinking, "Oh, I'm going to retire," well, Nashville will want to get him so that they can put him on the LTIR until the contract's up. So, and then I don't think Montreal will do this, but with a new management group, I don't know. But he becomes a trading, like you can trade him to a team that needs cap room. They trade for him and then they put him on the LTIR and they got all his money as cap room.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, Matt's fading. Pat says.
Yeah, I am a little tired.
Yeah, well, we're only here. Say another 10 minutes at most. Madden Jr. has been talking about, but if you need to go, don't worry. You can take off and I'll finish up. It's up to you.
I get you.
Yeah. Well, we're almost at it. We're at the bottom of the comments, so we're getting near the end. My dog's also bugging me. She wants to go out for a walk. So, does this open up Bergevin joining Blackhawks or Pittsburgh? Well, I mean, he's can go anywhere that he wants to now. He is no longer employed in Montreal. He's I don't see him going back to the Blackhawks. I don't know why Pittsburgh would be in there. That hasn't been yet. That's the first time I'm hearing Pittsburgh for him.
I haven't heard Pittsburgh either.
But I know Anaheim has been mentioned.
LA, right?
LA has been mentioned. Anywhere there's a potential need for GM, he's going to be mentioned. He'll get a job. Mm-hmm. There's only one French-speaking GM in hockey that's not in Tampa. It's Patrick Roy. Is that true? There's no other French-speaking GMs? I don't know. Yeah, he'll go somewhere anyway. I don't expect him to be out of a job that long, to be honest with you, anyway. He'll be in Montreal hockey shows, the local shows here, commenting on stuff till he gets a job. Yes, who are? Okay, let me get that comment. First of all, I'll probably go to the Ducks, Kings, Canucks. Yeah, one of those, maybe. Habitation, I don't know the answer. I'm asking that. I don't know if there's another one. Brisebois is the only one I know of. offhand. I don't know that I know all the names of the GMs, so don't. It's easy for me to maybe not know somebody. Bergevin getting hired by the Leafs? Well, they got Dubas. I don't know, unless they fire Dubas. I doubt he'd want to. You think he'd want to do that? I guess he would. Why not? I can be wrong. I can't name one.
I can't, aside from Breezebois.
Yeah, I think Brisebois is the only one. Brisebois and Bergevin were the only two. Now there's just Brisebois. So yeah, not surprised. Oh, I don't know if Pierre. Well, Pierre Dorion sounds like it. So maybe Pierre Dorion is true. Tony Marinaro said it. Okay, well, I don't know. Pierre Dorion sounds like it's a French name. He might have he might be half, mother English French, mother English, father French. Brodeur's definitely been mentioned.
I've heard Brodeur, Darch.
Yep.
Oh, hey, Abdul, thank you for that super chat, boss.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Finally, we're making some changes.
Some Habs Guru hype and some Dono hype. And yeah, some real change. I think it's about time at this point for that. I think I like his I like his little his avatar. You can't fix stupid. I think I've seen that before. I like that one. Awesome. Thank you, Habs Guru. I appreciate that, man. Hey, Pat. Ciao. I'll speak to you later, man. Gabriel, yeah, Bergie was a good GM. I'm not shitting on him. I'm not. I'm just saying I think it was time now for a change. Dorion was born in Ottawa. Well, then like Pat Burns. Pat Burns was from Ottawa. He spoke French, I believe. Matt Outdoor, no, you're totally wrong. We want the team to get better. Me and Matt being the GM and coach would not work.
Well, it might work for me. I don't know about Rick.
Yeah, we want the team to get better. That was my point. It wouldn't be.
I could whip the team. I wouldn't coach, but
there we got Bronislav.
I would be a better coach than GM.
Bronislav is saying, yeah, we're lucky to get Gorton. He's a Rangers fan. He hates what happened last summer. Drury does not know what he's doing. Gorton did. Well, I think we're lucky. I think Gorton's a good name.
See you, hockey fan guy. Thanks for sticking around, boss.
Yeah, see you later, buddy. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. So Dorion does speak French. So there you go. So there's two. Other than there were three in the league. So it just shows you there's not a lot of options when you're looking that way. So the only way for them to go really with French guy as GM is to go with a guy without much experience. That's unfortunate what probably has to happen. So, okay, we'll go to another 5 minutes. I think we got all this out of us. And then we'll just look forward to the news that of who's coming in. At least we have something to look forward to. It's kind of like a Christmas present, an early Christmas present. Yeah, except Happy Nation, Dorion is employed. That's the problem. So until he's not, then it's not going to help. So they might bring in an interim guy, right? Hey, even Gorton might be interim GM for now until they name a GM. I can see that. They might get away with him being English by him being interim. And I don't care what they say. All the reporters that cover the team speak English and understand English and can ask a question in English and translate the answer back when they to write it out. So there's no problem there. So I mean that's an option, right? That he stays GM for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
And then he names a new GM whenever he finds the right guy or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Luca. I mean, that's the whole point, right? That he's insulating having Gorton because we haven't had a proper since he's vice president, a proper vice president of hockey operations. He's the insulator, so it almost doesn't matter. It almost doesn't matter. You still want a good, competent guy, but his experience doesn't really make a difference. And any trades that a new GM would make, I'm sure, are going to be run through Gorton first.
Oh, yeah.
Habs should have drafted Lemieux. You're going back far. Speaking of Lemieux, you see Brendan Lemieux? He bit Brady Tkachuk on the head.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, yeah. He's getting suspended.
At least 5 games, from what I understand.
Yeah.
So you don't bite. I don't care what you don't bite a guy. I'm sorry. Draw the line.
Especially with COVID going around.
Especially with that, you doesn't even matter. And without that, you don't bite a guy. Hell, is somebody gonna bite off somebody's ear like Mike Tyson did? Habs should have drafted Lemieux. He went. Didn't he go first overall? Quebec got him, and then Pittsburgh got him, and he wouldn't go. He didn't want to go. He didn't stand up. He wouldn't stand up and acknowledge it. Brendan Lemieux, he's a bit of a goon. Improved it by biting somebody. All right, I think we're going to call it here because we're starting to talk about players that don't have anything to do with it. Hey, listen, thanks everybody for being here. Appreciate it, and hope you guys enjoyed it. I had fun doing this, and we're going to find out as soon as we know anything. Whenever there's an announcement, I'll do a video on it. I just thought since everybody had pretty much gotten their videos out, that I would just do a live stream and get to talk to you guys and see what you guys think directly instead of through comments only through the video. So I hope you guys like that. That Matt and I were here to talk live with you guys, and don't forget this game tomorrow. Vancouver is in town. It's a 7:30 start, so don't forget. I'm going to be on for the pregame show at 6, so don't forget that.
I'll be here for the hangout.
So and the hangout will be at 7:30. So so we got a game tomorrow, and maybe I don't know, maybe the shakeup, it might cause them to play a little better for a few games. Maybe we'll get a second win in a row. Never know. So have a great night, everybody. I want to thank everybody, literally. Thank you for being here. And take care till tomorrow. Stay safe out there. Peace out, y'all. Have a great night,
everybody. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.